Black hole, entering the black hole, entering the black hole. Hi, Chris. We have the Chris experience with Theo.
The experience with Chris Theo. Yes.
That was a ramble. I'm sorry. I was running out of air, and that was the easiest way to exit.
Slow down, young one.
Not with that Red Bull. He ain't gonna slow down.
I am achieving greatness, guys. Go ahead.
All right.
Please.
Back
to you.
All right. And about the pot. Are we talking about this podcast or my podcast?
I don't know. The show's kind of going all off the chain right now.
I mean, well, go ahead, Chris. This is your show.
All right. Basically, I'll get to how the origins of this show because he went off on a rant. We started off as down to the dumps, like he said, went to dumpster fire. Then we were trying to be the one salty cult.
I think the Salty Bastards was
the Salty
original.
Bastards.
Oh my God.
The Salty Bastards.
Yeah.
And he was just like, fuck, the name's not right all the time. I'm like, all right, just what do you want to call it? And he was like, I don't know, man. Give me a minute. He's like, cult. No, wait, cult. Huh? One salty cult. I'm like, I thought he was having a stroke for a minute. But, he really came up with the name out of fucking nowhere. And I was like, all right, I like it. So what cult shit are we going to talk about here?
Well, what's crazy is that he's had multiple podcasts and it always has some sort of salt in it. Okay?
I know.
With the exception of JFE, everything was one salty this. His name, when I met him, was Saltine. He got a whole bunch of salt and everything. I guess it's because of his color of his skin. I don't know.
No, the origins of Saltine is that in college it became a running joke because I always wore a beanie or I was always listening to some kind of weird, raged out trap music or.
And that changed?
Huh?
That changed? You still got a beanie on your head.
Yeah, well, I kind of.
I used to have a beanie while wearing a beanie.
It's a beanieception, guys. Here we are. All right. Basically, I created this joke for stand-up being basically an Eminem copy. Like what was the Miami movie about the white rapper who thought he was the shit?
Oh,
and,
you talking about
Malibu's Most Wanted?
Yeah, that's on.
Basically, I had
movie.
created a version of that. And Saltine was a bit that I did on stage.
Right.
So
I could see that. I could see you as Malibu's Most Wanted.
Thanks, Chris. That's such a great thing, because these
comedy
Uzis
style.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I would do a concept character,
right?
And I'd get up there and I'd do a little rapping, trying to be funny and shit. And I was running 10-minute sets, 15-minute sets, and the character kind of stuck for a little while. So, and then years go by, nobody's called me Salty or Saltine or anything like that. The name stuck, and it's coarse, and you can't live without me.
There you go. You need to call him Saltine from this point forward.
You need it to survive. Iodine, you need it to survive. But it's coarse and hard to sometimes swallow if it's big enough.
And it gives you a heart attack if you eat enough.
Yeah, just like I'm going to pop out right now. I think this is like my 6th fucking Red Bull today.
Jesus, I thought you had quit.
Yeah, I got
that only lasted, 2 days, right?
Yeah, that was
over
like
2 days.
I'm going to quit smoking, guys. Okay, I'm back to smoking, guys. That's about as quick.
Highly addictive personality here.
All right, so we're going to kind of jump into the show now.
Okay.
A version of the show, I guess.
We're going to talk about topics and stuff.
Yeah, topics. So
don't judge us or him or them on this first episode. Come back again.
We won't pontificate on anything.
Right. It's just a brand new, the first time we're doing it, and we're getting to know us, them, you, everybody. Yeah. So don't knock the first show.
Yeah. We're getting our feet wet here.
That's right. You guys have no idea how. Okay, Mr. Bloated fucking over super fucking star now. Jesus Christ.
Well, thank you,
goddamn high horse, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thanks for coming down to us lowly people in the podcast game.
You plebeians. Hello.
Yeah, you fucking peasants. Jeez.
I got soil my hands.
We got some weird stories that I came up with today that I had found browsing the wonderful internet, as I do. And basically, we're going to talk about it.
Boy, do you. I'll be at work, and you'll be sending me shit all day.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think it's bad with you, you should see the...
Rick told me how bad it is with him. That was funny. I was
my God.
Really?
There's no prep work.
No, there's no prep work.
It's just everything
it's basically the whole day from like 10 to 6 p.m., is me trashing the other third mic on my show.
Oh, my God.
It is a relentless, brutal battle.
I'll be like, sometimes, because they keep going back and I keep getting the notifications, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cut this shit off because there's like 20 of them and I'm at work and I can't answer my phone anyway. And all you hear is ding, ding, ding. One time it just kept doing that. And my manager is looking at me like, why your phone going off? I mean, like, because this dickhead on my phone is constantly arguing with the other dickhead on my phone, and they're going back and forth, and that's why you keep hearing all the dings. He's like, well, you got to turn it off. I was like, I can't turn off my phone because I have my kids. One of my kids was sick, and I got to make sure I get the message, and I can't turn it off. And I was like, you know what? Fuck y'all.
Man, you be inconveniencing the shit out of this man.
Oh, yeah. I am a thorn in Anthony and Rick's side. They hired me, and now I've just become
You know what I'm saying?
a thorn in their ass, basically. It's great. So wonderful.
You're a piece of shit.
I really am.
You be making it hard for this man to have kids.
No, I have kids. I ain't having no more. I'm done. That's it.
But here's the irony of how, like, if his manager was to pick up his phone, I know he wouldn't,
Right.
but if he was to pick up his phone, unlock it, and see the things that me and this dude are saying to each other, they are the worst. It's Roastmaster status. It's Jeff Ross. It's aggressive. Like, I will support Trump if he
Sometimes I got to tell Aaron to bring it back a little bit because Aaron goes on a tirade and he will not stop. I mean, like, so at one point, and I talked to Rick about this. At one point, this could start a fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this. I mean, I'm reading it. I'm like, yeah, they're joking. We know they're joking. Everybody know we're having fun. But I was like, sometimes when you say things, I'll be like, man, if I saw you in my face and you said this shit, I'd have punched in your eye. I was like, yo,
this is real deal gangster shit. I mean, this be fighting words.
Keyboard gangster shit.
Oh yeah, but as soon as we get in the same room, we're like, you ever seen that the dogs are fighting in between a fence and then the fence is opening?
Oh, I saw that.
And then as soon as the fence is totally retracted, the dogs are all like, "Hey guys, it's all go.
Yeah,
it's all cool."
That's
the way it is.
Yeah, they when they're next to each other, they're cool. There's no problem.
Nah, I think we get a few jabs in on
Yeah,
Mike. I mean,
they do
like
that
we
on Mike.
used to,
Yeah.
like down in the dumps, like.
We still do.
Hold on,
Yeah.
we are still talking about I don't want to talk about my show. This is your show.
No, but that's funny.
Yeah, I know,
it's funny
it
as
was.
fuck. It is brutal, Chris. I mean, like, I think for hours on end of how to make this guy's like. Really, he thought of that? That is fucking brutal.
Pink cocaine.
And on a different
Yeah.
note, we're gonna take us into a subject, and this subject is derivative. What?
Derivative.
Yes.
It is derivative. So
Stop
our
using
first
big
one
words.
is actually what's
Yes.
that?
Stop using big words.
Yeah.
You don't know how many times I hear that.
All right, we got our first news story of the night. We got like 3 stories to go through. The first one is from CNN, and this is actually updated as of today. Crashed spacecraft may have left tiny but tough creatures on the moon.
That's bullshit. And it's on what?
It's
CNN?
on the moon. Like, they were on a spacecraft that they came from Earth
A space.
and crashed into the moon, and now they're living there.
What's the details? What are these creatures?
Okay.
What do we send up there?
All right, so I'm going to try to read this the best I can because, like I said, this is a whole bunch of science shit. And you know how I am with trying to even remember how to say Narcan.
Read it?
Huh?
You want me to read it?
No, it's part of...
I'm the man of many
You
words.
Son of a bitch. Okay, so basically the article starts as thousands of tardigrades, known as water bears or moss piglets, were on board the Bereshit spacecraft when it crashed in the moon. Huh? Yeah.
Must be Russian.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. And this is basically what these things look like. They're like just tiny, microscopic kind of survival entities. You know what I mean?
That can't be real.
They say it's plausible.
That's microscopic.
Yeah, these things are like tiny creatures.
Tardigrades are pudgy little
First of all,
animals.
I
no
can't
longer
watch
than
this
a
photo
millimeter.
anymore, man. It looks disgusting.
It looks like something out of fucking Tremors.
Yeah, Right.
Here you go, guys. I don't know how video works with laptop screens, so Anthony, you tell me if this looks like shit or not. But these things look like something out of Tremors.
I've heard of these things before, though. Those could live for a long time. You could freeze them. I think I've heard of scientists actually unfreezing one that was almost 700 years old. I'm not really familiar on the story I read because it was probably about 2 years ago. But I read about tardigrades. They're like
Yeah?
they're the
Do they
survival
not
of
need-
survival.
do
They
they-
could survive out in fucking space for a day, be completely dehydrated, but you put water on them or you just get them a little oxygen, they come back to life. They
See,
they were
that's
researching these things just to for like
And now I got to look in my bathtub all the time. And
no, these
You
are
know what I mean?
like at Moss and like places like that, like by
Right.
the seabeds or like deep in the sea, and these things are being researched for maybe life longevity and other things.
They can basically go through a nuclear winter.
They could go through anything.
So these are like microscopic cockroaches, basically.
Well-
like these things can survive
Well,
through
water-based.
anything.
Well, tardigrade. Well, basically they can. You could kill them off, but like certain extremes, they could die. But they're the best survival creatures this planet has to offer.
Yeah. So do you think there's? You said they're being studied for like medicinal purposes.
Yeah,
and, like,
because they could survive almost anything, and you could bring them back to life, and there's something to study.
Oh, so
in that.
now we're gonna try to play God. Okay, I hear it.
Yeah. So
Well, we've always tried to do that.
Yeah,
from
that's true.
like
day
Chris
one.
was saying, that they're in moss or lichen, which are apparently plants of some kind. They survive in extreme environments, from like icy mountains to polar regions to like deep in the jungle. Like these things can survive anywhere. So these are like the cockroaches of a microscopic, tiny fucking world or
They
whatever.
look like they can attach to your brain and start sucking your brain out. That's why
like leech worms.
yeah, but in your brain. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, those-
not on the skin, but in the brain. They just look like they just suck and just keep sucking and
that kind of
I don't know.
parasitic horror movie kind of
Exactly.
shit.
Like,
You can get
oh.
worms in your brain too.
Oh well, look, that's what they look like.
Take some. Doctor gives you some steroids, they die.
So Chris,
I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that.
So, have you
not a doctor.
had any experience of this stuff? Because you obviously knew what these things were.
I mean,
I had never heard of them before. So,
Because
what-
when I have another group on Facebook called Think Tank, which is like an informational debate group, and we go over many scientific and political subjects, and that happened to be one of them. And I think, in a conversation with one of the members, and he was giving me all this information about tardigrades, because I shared a post saying that tardigrades is being used for longevity, and I wanted my community on Think Tank to really eat through that, dice it down, give me the fat out of it.
right.
And that's when the one member, let me remember what's
just
his
like
name.
me on camera.
Yeah, I know. I won't quote him right now. I won't say his name, but he gave me all the information I needed about that. That's where I got all the information from, and I'm well studied in other topics. Not like I'm not deeply an expert on them, but I know my
Right.
way around certain topics.
Well, we bullshit everything we can. Like, everything I'm learning about this is while Chris was talking, I was reading more of the articles because that's the way I operate,
First of all, the picture of that thing looks disgusting. It's like 6 arms. It looked like a brain sucking amoeba.
Oh gosh, that's not even the ugliest
No, I know it's
microscopic
not the
creep.
ugly- it
Oh,
just-
it looks creepy as shit
Yeah,
though.
like now I'm gonna go to bed tonight, and that's gonna be a picture in my head.
Yeah?
Yes, I
Like,
already know
You're
it.
going to go to sleep and you're going to think that those things.
It's just
You know
sucking
what?
my brain
You know
out
what?
and grabbing onto me, like grabbing onto my brain and just sucking out, like a woman like a woman sucking my dick. Just grabbing a hold and just sucking away. I can say that, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
I don't know. The producer hasn't told us to go fuck ourselves yet, so that's always good. One of the things that I was thinking is, remember when you were a kid and you were like pressing on your eyes, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, and you would get like those little floaties.
I got one of those now.
They're always in
Is
the eye.
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see one right now.
Yeah, it's coming from. Well, the light is not as bad, but yeah.
Yeah, and every time you try to look at it, it goes away. That little old gag. Like,
Yeah.
where are you going, Squiggly?
Like, yeah, maybe that's these things in your head already.
yeah, reminds me of.
Thank you very much. Now I can't go to sleep tonight.
That's
I gotta go to work tomorrow, and it's all your fault.
I know. What? You going to work is my fault?
No, me not going to work is your fault.
Oh well.
That too, because I'm not gonna be able to sleep with that sucking amoeba in my head.
You know, it's really the Evan Williams that is gonna make you go to sleep.
So what's the more of the skinny on this thing?
Honestly, what they're doing is, like you said, is trying to find out if we can find medicinal purposes for these things. Because what they, in an even more focused looking at this, if you dehydrate them, they are dehydrated. but you can rehydrate them back to life. So that's where the medical thing comes into play, is that they're able to pull DNA from their cells and see how to regenerate like certain specific things. Like maybe there's the cure to Alzheimer's in this.